I wanted to
Yeah,
ask you
sure.
about trends and changes to the
Sure.
industry. There were like three buckets of things that I thought of when I was
Hmm.
brainstorming. There's kind of like what's selling products, like do you see anything coming down the
Hmm.
pike on that? And then second one is, oh, I didn't finish that one. Darn. um, changes to like your guys' situation. Like, do you see any technology changes coming or law changes coming that would
Hmm.
change life for you or change like a trajectory or
Sure.
focus for you guys? So take them any
Sure.
order you
Yeah.
want.
So, sure. So, from a product perspective, we're definitely seeing a pendulum, at least in craft beer. We're seeing a pendulum swing back towards more traditional styles,
Hmm.
away from the IPA saturation. So that's a good thing, I think, for beer in
Yeah.
general. Um, but most people are probably seeing that too. I mean, I don't think I'm going to unveil any trends that people haven't already seen, but we're definitely seeing that and are happy
Yeah.
about that because we like to educate on different styles and we love people trying different things and not just saying like, what's the newest IPA you have, which is cool too. If that's what you love to drink.
Right.
Or, more
Are
power
you
to you.
seeing it?
Um,
Is it interest in domestic versions of those styles, or is it like the craft versions of those styles? Both?
you mean like can you rephrase that?
Yeah, so it's like the pendulum swinging back from the IPAs. Is the pendulum swinging back to be like, oh, instead of like the IPA double dry hops with toenails in it or whatever, they're like, oh, but I'll get the dry, or like non-filtered lager from 2SP or something
Oh
instead.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
is it
sure.
like I'm getting the high life now?
Oh no, no,
Okay.
it's the former. Yeah, it's the
Okay.
former. Yeah, it's not like people are just like, I'm just gonna drink domestic.
Yeah.
um,
Schlitz it is from
yeah,
now on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I think they're
Okay.
just interested in other styles from like the craft brands that they love.
Okay.
That maybe we're really IPA heavy, for a couple of years there. So that's
Yeah.
that's always cool to see. Our industry is unique, especially in Pennsylvania. Our store, we're only allowed to sell malt-based beverages, so I can't sell
Mm.
wine or liquor in Pennsylvania. So trends for us, particularly in our stores, which I'm sure other folks are seeing too, at least if you're in a retail setting, is the wide variety of the malt version of a liquor that people know, right?
Right.
So like Fireball, little tiny Fireball,
Yep.
right? Like Fireball, the liquor, not my cup of tea, or not my cinnamon liqueur, but for a lot of folks who come and are they come to our store to get because they think they're going to get everything, which a lot of
Yep.
folks do. It is a bit of a they're like, okay, cool. I'll grab this 10 pack of these little fireballs for the night and share
Yeah.
them with friends. And there's a wide variety of those now. I think Saranac's doing like most of them, like 99 bananas, and the
Okay.
BuzzBallz is out. BuzzBallz is out now, which is like
Yeah.
really unique packaging,
Yeah.
very very interesting product. So those are kind of are definitely like flooding in for us.
Okay.
Which again we're a super democratic store in the sense that like we serve anybody. I don't ever scoff at anything anybody's walking out of the store with. Like if you're a high
Right.
life guy, you're a buzzball girl, like go do your thing. All
Mm-hmm.
good. You want a single bottle of in Bourbon County, love you. It's all good
Yeah.
all around. So that's cool. Um, so yeah, bigger trends are just from like the craft side is just getting back to some traditional styles or just non hoppy styles, and the malt based liquor
Yeah.
alternatives have been interesting. RTDs I don't have to tell anybody about. That's obviously already happened.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania is actually behind the times when it comes to ready to drink cocktails.
Oh,
Um,
really? Like legally?
yeah, because this will dovetail perfectly into law changes in Pennsylvania. So it's such a unique state when it comes to liquor laws, which I know many of the states are. So we can only sell malt-based beverages. So we have beer, hard seltzer, hard cider, and other alternatives in the store, in addition to
Mm.
mixers and things like that. All of the stores in Pennsylvania that sell liquor and wine are owned by the state of Pennsylvania. They're called fine wine
Mm-hmm.
and good spirits stores. So if you're a consumer in PA and you want to get a 4 pack of High Noon and you want to get a 4 pack of a craft beer you like, you need to go to two places. Can't go to the same store.
Yeah.
If you want to get a bottle of wine and a 4-pack you like, you got to go to two places. Unless you shop in a grocery store, and then some of our grocery stores have, you know, a decent enough selection of beer and wine. I definitely wouldn't recommend buying your beer there. Besides the fact that we're a competitor, but like the selection is less than ideal.
Right.
But you can, you can get it. You're there. You're buying food. I understand. I'm a consumer too. You just need
Yep.
a bottle of red and you need an IPA. Okay, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't sell any of those ready to drink cocktails either. So there is
Okay.
absolutely no question a battle in Pennsylvania for what the landscape will look like in the future. So
Okay.
grocery stores want, they want more. They want to be able to put beer in the aisles instead of in this like separate section with a separate register, which is what the law states. They want to be
Yep.
able to sell more than a certain amount of liquid. We want RTDs. We would love to have wine too and liquor. Give it to us all at once.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty interesting landscape. I'm sure one day, and I'll be around for it. It'll change because I plan on owning my business for a very long time.
Yeah.
But there's stuff proposed, in in the in
The
in the
legislature or
in,
whatever.
in the legislature all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
every session there's something proposed. And I'm a member and a director of the Malt Beverage Distributors Association in PA. So, that's our trade group who kind of keeps us abreast of what's going on. And, every day there's somebody out there proposing a bill to, cut some version of what our stores do and give it to the state or give it to a grocery store. And the grocery store money is, flooding in to do that. And like our lobbyists are trying to protect our interests. It's
Yeah.
a very interesting place and interesting battle of sorts. But ultimately, I would imagine that the consumer would win out because in time, we should, the consumer voice should be the one that dictates, where this goes. Now, the big money interest might change that, and maybe the consumer doesn't win out, but I would hope that they would. So for
It's
us,
an
like we're really
interesting
just, again,
it's an interesting thing where like more than more than most other states, there seem to be a lot of players in PA. Like these
oh
guys
yeah,
can have this, these guys have this. Usually it's like two. It's like liquor stores versus grocery stores. That's going
sure,
on in up in New York right now. There's like Wegmans is fighting real hard to get wine in grocery stores. It still isn't up there either. But
sure,
the wine and spirit stores don't want it. So now they're
yeah,
duking it out and like they've killed it before. Who knows what's going to
yeah.
happen? I imagine they will again, but it's
It's an
it's one.
interesting battle of sorts.
Yeah.
My take on it as a retailer and now I'm a wholesaler in the last two years or so is it feels to me at least the people that I talk to that selection seems to be the thing that wins out most times when I ask people about what's really important to you, what do you love about Stones, and they usually
Right.
talk about selection. Plenty of people shop at a grocery store that they can get beer in, and then they make a trip to Stones to
Yep.
buy the beer just because the selection there is just not where they want it to be. I
Yep.
know the truth, which is like if grocery does take beer from us in a big way, there's going to be fewer options. It's just the way it's going to be
At the
because we
grocery
sell to
store,
grocery
yeah.
stores. Yeah, we sell to
Right.
grocery stores, so we know we're trying to get small brands into the grocery store, and these big grocery stores are like, listen, man, we're planogrammed out. Our planogram's done for the year. You can
Right.
introduce your brand once a year in August. And we're like, well, really? Because like, if a self distributing brewery walks into Stones or makes an appointment at Stones, like as long as as long as I can see your can and I drink it, you drink your liquid and your liquid's good and your can looks okay, like you're probably going to compete at Stones and we're probably going to buy something
Right.
because that's what we know our consumers want. They want to
Hmm.
see this brand they've never seen before, and they want to try that brewery that they've read about on beer menus or on, you know, some other some other blog or they heard their friend talk about.
Right.
So, I'm obviously I have an interest in the fact that we should keep that selection, where it
Hmm.
needs to be, and I hope that it stays that way because
Right.
our beloved beer store might go away without it. So we'll
Yeah.
see what comes in time.
Yeah, it seems so anachronistic hearing you talk about
Yeah.
what's going on over there.
Yeah, I mean the
But
biggest thing I think for the state right now is they're losing a lot of revenue with ready to drink cocktails
right,
because the fine wine and good spirits is the only place you can get it, and fine wine and good spirits is run by the state. They don't have a delivery infrastructure. They
hmm
don't have. They're not a single organization that just can send trucks all over the state and just deliver ready to drink cocktails everywhere. I mean, they're running out of this stuff all the time. I
right.
think like the revenue compared to a neighboring state for us, we're like 90% lower in ready to drink cocktail revenue than our
That's
neighboring
crazy.
state. So the state recognizes like, okay, well, something has to happen here. So either the state wants the revenue from us, the sales tax revenue, or they're
Yep.
going to put a distribution network in place and make it happen, which I
Tell you
would
which one
imagine